This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Retirement isn't just about saving, it's about having a strategy that helps you navigate market ups and downs, combat inflation, and secure the future you deserve. That's why Financially Fit Radio is here to tackle your biggest financial concerns, share actionable strategies, and help you move toward your retirement goals with confidence. And now, here's Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. If you'd like any information about anything we discuss on today's show, feel free to reach out to us. You can give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're on our website, feel free to click on that radio page. You can listen to past episodes, as well as subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or Spotify. Also, feel free to visit our YouTube channel. You can watch today's show, as well as subscribe to our or subscribe, and you will be kept up to date on different types of financial topics we put out. We put about 3 to 5 shorts a week on different types of financial topics. Just type in Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors to go to our YouTube page. Well, today what we're going to talk about is something that I think a lot of retirees think about, and that's actually downsizing their house. We're going to talk about an event that I participate in, and we have a special guest who's actually going to be able to enlighten us on the way Downsize Columbus was, why it was created, and about this year's event. But before we dive into that, let me introduce my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good this week and every week. You've got to put up with me, Cory. It's great to be here, though. Thanks for having me on your show once again. I really appreciate it. And I've had a really good week. We finally got a little bit of spring weather. How about you? How have you been?
I've been good. We record on Mondays, Tony. It's St. Patty's Day, and you have no green on. Absolutely,
I know. I'm 50% Irish too. My mom's side of the family is Irish, so
now,
I feel bad.
Maybe you celebrated, over the weekend, which is when most of the festivities actually start.
Oh yeah, I did. The kids came over. We had a little Irish celebration. That's for sure. My son even has reddish hair. So my mom's maiden name is Whelan. My grandfather was 100% Irish, and my grandma was almost 100% Irish too on my mom's side. Yeah. So I'm half English, half Irish, always at war with myself. You know how that goes. But hey, we've got a big action-packed show today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. The first person I want to bring on is Joe with our Medicare Minute here. And I think Joe's going to share a few things on mistakes to avoid when we start talking or thinking about Medicare.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for having me again. We've talked over the last few weeks about all the different routes you can take or money-saving options that you can do when it comes to Medicare. And it kind of got me thinking, there's a lot of people will tell me that Medicare is confusing. Some people I have conversations with where they kind of just dive into it, try to figure it out on their own, or best case scenario, they're reaching out to somebody like myself or, an advisor that can help them navigate through all this. And there's so many different parts, or I like to describe it, paths or avenues that you can go down. But by doing that, there can be a lot of mistakes that you can make that could cost you, financially, or, leave you without the proper coverage that you feel that you need for yourself. So I kind of have a short list here, just things that I have seen a lot over the years, things that have happened to people. So one of those is signing up late or not taking the proper steps. You want to be aware of the enrollment windows that you have in the situation that you are going into. Just because you are 65 doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sign up for Medicare. There are, situations where if you're continuing to work or different things like that. So you want to, make sure that those enrollment windows and what it looks like outside of those enrollment windows for you, so that you're not getting any late enrollment penalties that will stick with you to the end of time, unfortunately. Another one is, make sure every year, and we've talked about this in the last couple episodes, reviewing your coverage, specifically reviewing it without renewing it without reviewing it. a lot of times, and it kind of baffles me, people will sign up for something. It worked great for them for 1 year, the year that they were in. They just assume it's going to work for them the same next year. These plans change all the time. The rates change, the networks change. Make sure that you are going to review it at least before you renew it. Just like, with Cory and your finances, you're not just leaving them alone. You're doing it every year. Make sure your healthcare is no different. And the same as with when you were working. When you had employer coverage, you're reviewing that coverage every year before you're signing up. So treat Medicare the same way. Also within that is, when you are reviewing it, pay attention to your plans and network. That network changes all the time. I've seen it change. I've done a review for somebody, and then 3 weeks later, that network has changed and those doctors have dropped out. So that goes back into making sure that you're reviewing every aspect of that situation for you with your prescriptions, your doctors, against the plan that you potentially want to renew or the plan that you want to look at going forward into the new year for you. One that I see a lot that sometimes doesn't make sense to me or make sense for the individual is buying the same prescription drug plan that your spouse has or your significant other. A lot of times I have conversations with people and they want to, for simplicity, they just want to have the exact same thing as each other. It makes it simple for them on billing and everything else. But a lot of times, if you're not taking the same prescriptions as your spouse or your significant other, that plan doesn't always make sense. It may cost you more money in the long run. So, look at all of your options that are available. This one, Cory can probably speak on making large financial moves before signing up for your Part B. Your Part B premium is dictated on your adjusted gross income over the last couple of years. So if you're going to make a large withdrawal or you've got some money moving around and you're looking at going into Medicare and potentially retiring at the same time, talk to your advisor and make sure that you're not making those big financial moves before you need to. That way you don't pay any Part B premium penalties that can get out of hand pretty quick. Another one, missing out on financial support. So there are programs out there for, if you have limited income and resources, like I've talked about in the past, there's programs out there to help offset some premiums, whether that be, Medicaid or the Medicare, spending, drawing a blank on that one, even extra help, so there's some other programs out there that can help you out to offset some of those costs if your financial situation is a little tough for you right now. Another one I see a lot is staying on original Medicare without looking at a Medicare supplement option or a Medicare Advantage option. With that original Medicare comes a 20% co-insurance. So you're responsible for 20% of anything that you incur from a financial medical cost, and that number compounds. So it's just going to keep growing for you. Whereas a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan is going to keep a lot of that money into your pocket and help keep those expenses or those out-of-pocket of expenses under control for you. And then finally, I think it kind of sums all this up, not educating yourself or understanding the difference between all these different plans and things that are available to you out there. That's where, again, working with somebody like myself, that is an insurance broker that's representing multiple companies, just ask questions. I say it all the time, and, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Everything that we do with the Medicare side is complimentary. So there is no charge for our services. Just reach out with questions. Happy to help at any time.
Yeah. And I think the big thing with this is just like everyone wants a financial review, you should review your Medicare. They're specialists. Joe's our specialist to be able to do that. And really, for our listeners and viewers out there, before you make a decision on Medicare, you should actually, get some advice. And if you're already on Medicare, there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion on where you are today as well. So
yeah.
Thank you. Thanks
yeah, Joe, I think you should have T-shirts made that say "Review before you renew."
Yes,
definitely gonna look into that.
Review before renew. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
I think that goes with any facet of anything. So
yeah, how can our listeners out there get a hold of Joe, Cory?
Yeah, the best way is just give us a call here in our office at 614-760-0670. Again, you can also visit our website at safeharboroh.com. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe.
Well, Tony, one of the nice parts about St. Patty's Day, or the week of St. Patty's Day, means the March Madness is coming along.
Yeah, that's true. March Madness.
March Madness is
Have you
coming
filled
along.
out your brackets yet, Cory?
I have not filled my bracket out. There's a few things I need to do in order to do that. So
Yeah, you and me both.
but that's something that I'll be doing, by Thursday of this week, right?
Yep.
So yeah. So one of the things that I participate in is Downsize Columbus.
Yeah.
And we have Kathy Chiero, if you want to bring Kathy on there, Tony.
You bet.
Hi, Kathy.
Hey, Cory, thanks for having me today.
Oh, no problem. This has been an event. I can't even remember how many years I've actually participated in it, but I'm going to probably say it's been probably 7 or 8 years that I've actually, been associated with Downsize Columbus. But why don't you give our listeners and viewers here just a quick recap of what is Downsize Columbus?
Well, first of all, I apologize. I can't jump in and help you. I don't remember how many years. I know it's been a lot, and we're very, very grateful for Safe Harbor as one of what we call our pillars, one of our 5 main sponsors. I'm a realtor, and I've been in the business almost 30 years, and my real estate career has always been education based. I come from, my mom was a teacher. I come from an academic background. And so I've always approached the marketing of my business in the form of educating the consumer. So it was coming right out of the recession. Any of our listeners who owned a home during the recession will know that it was not a great time. You didn't voluntarily sell your home during that time. You held on because many times values were down double digits. Just wasn't a great time to get a benefit from the selling of your home. So coming out of the recession here in Central Ohio was around 2012-ish. And I thought, I bet there's a lot of homeowners, especially downsizers, who have held off selling their home because not good timing. Why don't we do a seminar, Cory? It was one. I was thinking I'd do one seminar. Right. In 2012 was our first seminar where we just educated homeowners on the downsizing process. So we literally, sitting in Panera on a napkin, I wrote down Downsize Columbus. Let's do this seminar. And we thought we would do one. And I kind of thought, okay, I'm sort of that age at that point. So what would I want? I would want a financial advisor. I would want someone advising legal. All of us need to get rid of stuff. So let's find someone who will talk about that. So we kind of cobbled together. I think our first event, we had 16 vendor sponsors. We had 3 speakers. And I bought some time on the radio to advertise it, and then just sat back and hoped people would come. Well, once the advertising began, we had a venue that would accommodate 200 people. I would have been thrilled if 20 showed up at that point. But we began the radio advertising, and within a few days of advertising, we had filled up 200 spots. So that year we did it again. I think we did one in March, then we did one in April, and we did a third one in May. And we finally said, wow, 2 things. We need to get back to selling houses, but also we discovered a niche. We saw this is a real need. So we began doing Downsize Columbus every year. We actually went to doing it twice a year. I'm not a great numbers person, but I think since then we've done close to 40 seminars. You've participated in many of them. And it has become Central Ohio's premier downsizing event, where the consumer has learned they can come to this event. And if they are in that process of considering a downsize, they're going to get a lot of good information.
Yeah, and I think that's key. I think one of the biggest keys that I would probably say is education.
Right.
I mean, that's one thing that we try to do at Safe Harbor. But, there's just there's so many unknowns about what do you really need to do in order to downsize. Everyone just thinks that I'm just going to get a smaller house.
Right. When I began doing this, I was very naive, and I thought that the main problem was the selling of the home. And what I've learned is that's not the issue at all. In fact, especially right now in Central Ohio, the selling of the home, is something you can confidently count on. But there are so many steps before that. And for example, one of the things we learned early on was getting rid of stuff. I mean, just all the stuff you collect over 20, 30, 40 years of living in a home, that is paralyzing. If you don't know how to get rid of it, you can't sell your home. So we really began a separate LLC, just helping people get rid of stuff. But beyond that, we sat down and we thought, what are the 5 things that are, what are the things? It turned out to be 5 key areas people have questions on. This move, Cory, as you know, is unlike any other. It's not like when you're young and you're getting into a better school system or you need an extra bedroom. This move potentially turns your life upside down.
Sure.
So the 5 things we said, we know people have medical issues. What are the medical concerns when you're downsizing? They have legal, the whole will, trust. Who do I leave the house to? What does the deed say? How is this move different? The residential. Where do you go? What kinds of options are available to you? What are short-term? What are long-term? Do I go to Florida? Do I buy a condo? Do I go into one of these really gorgeous retirement homes and that sort of thing? And then emotional. It's a big deal of letting go of this, I call it the second act in your life, and embracing the third act in your life. And then, of course, where you step in, Cory, is financial. Gosh, that I'll let you speak to that, but it's huge. People don't know. What do I do with the retirement funds that I've saved? Do I pay cash for a house? Do I finance the next home? Do I shift around my assets to accommodate a retirement home situation? So there's all of those things that come into this move that are unique to this move, and we address each one at Downsize Columbus. In addition to now having almost 30 exhibitors, all of whom are trusted, really good Central Ohio resources that we bring all into one room. And their goal is to help the homeowner make this very, very challenging at times transition, but it can be very rewarding as it takes you into your next phase of life.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I think it's more emotional than anything because not only are you dealing with maybe downsizing and a lot of the things you just discussed, but you probably just retired or you're getting ready to retire, and now you have all these kind of things hitting at once, and it is very emotional. So I think it's a good event. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this year's event? And I know we have a guest speaker that's going to be there this year.
Yeah, we what we've tried to do, as you've mentioned, Cory, is we try to educate the homeowner on all different levels when they're coming in. And so our event's coming up on April the 6th. It's a Sunday afternoon, 1:30 to 4:30 at the Villa Milano. It is a free event. You can come in. And this year I have invited a gentleman named Dan Garrett. He's out of Texas. When I first spoke to him, in his Western Texas drawl, said he was originally from LA, and then he went Lower Alabama. So he's a lot of fun. He's a funny guy, but his background is in helping nonprofits get donations for tax purposes. No, he's got a financial background. But he said, you know what, at the end of the day, if all we're leaving our kids is money, then we've sold them short. And he said, you should be looking to leave is a legacy. And so he's written a book called Leaving a Legacy. And he's going to talk to us about how to teach, and it's never too late to begin to teach and educate the next generation to follow your values, to follow the things you believe in, so that generations from now, when the money is all gone, you will still have your generations beyond you living the values, living the things that meant a lot to you as a person. And so I love his book. I read his book, and he's going to come not only speak to our audience, but he's going to do what we call our breakout sessions. He's going to do a breakout session as well. We'll have his book available to attendees. And we're hoping that everybody leaves really encouraged to go out and really, again, obviously, you're there. We're going to make sure you're there to have your financial house in order. But beyond that, what do we leave to the next generation? Make sure it lasts eternity.
Yeah. And obviously, we talk all the time to our clients about leaving a legacy. And this is going to get more, I think, on the emotional side of it, is to make sure you're leaving your values and things like that. So, for our listeners out there, as well as our viewers, how do they register, or what's the process in order for them to attend the event?
Great, Cory. All they have to do is go to downsizecolumbus.com. That's downsizecolumbus.com. And right on the homepage, you'll see a register here button. Click on it. We'll get your information. You will be confirmed with an email, and probably between now and then a couple reminder emails as well. But yeah, we would love to see your audience there. I think one of the things people tell us, Cory, when they leave, and I say we because I'm of that age as well, we are a forgotten culture when it comes to where advertisers spend their money. And we have so many people come through our events saying, thank you for thinking of us. Thank you for recognizing that we are a market center. First of all, they absolutely have money to spend. But beyond that, these are people who have great wisdom to give. And to get them all in the same room and to say, look, there's a lot of people look like just like me, are going through the same things we are. It's so gratifying to know I'm not alone. This is a challenging time. And we get so many people who say, thank you. In fact, I jokingly say, if they could have children still, they would name them after us because they're many times so grateful that someone took the time to educate them.
So they go online, register. Is there any cost for the event?
There is no cost for the event. We would love to see you. We have a light lunch. It's very casual. It's very informative. A lot of question and answer. And we just hope everybody leaves with some encouragement to take this next step and a whole lot of knowledge.
Is there a deadline to register?
There is not. I mean, there is a limit seating capacity, but honestly, we get registrations up to the day of. I would encourage people to register early just to make sure you get that response email, have all the details, and we know you're coming.
For the breakout sessions, Kathy, what are those? Give us a little bit of idea of what some of the other things you'll discuss at the breakout session.
We have 4 breakout sessions. As I mentioned, Dan Garrett is doing one to further expound on his ideas for leaving a legacy. I do one on getting rid of stuff. We give you some really practical tips to walk out that door ready to begin to clear out that basement or wherever your problem area is. And we have Steve Barton from 2 Men in a Truck. He's going to talk about sorting, packing, some things you can do to begin to consolidate your stuff, storage ideas if you need it. Very creative things out there to help the homeowner begin that process. And then we have a woman who's going to talk about all the options available to you with senior housing. That's a whole new world that has happened in the last 15, 20 years. A lot of communities, we call them continuous care retirement communities. And trust me, it is not your grandmother's nursing home. These are 5-star facilities, very nice facilities, ranging from renting to residential. And she will be there to talk about and educate our people on some of those options.
Well, great. So for our listeners out there, again, visit downsizecolumbus.com. The event's on April 6th from 1:30 to 4:30. So feel free to attend the event and look forward to seeing you there. Kathy and I will be attending. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Cory. Thanks, Tony.
You bet. Thanks.
Well, Tony, it looks like we have another show wrapped up here today.
Yeah.
So for our listeners out there, again, you can always give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit our website at safeharboroh.com. If you have any questions about Downsize Columbus, just visit downsizecolumbus.com. And we look forward to seeing you at the event on April 6th.
Yeah, that's a great one. I know my wife and I are looking forward to getting some information on how to get rid of our stuff and downsize. So thanks for that, Cory. And listeners,
you're getting that age, Tony.
I'm getting closer anyway. Closer. Yep. All right. Thanks, Cory. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for joining us for Financially Fit Radio. Don't head into retirement without a strategy that addresses both income and taxes. For more information, please contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors at 614-760-0670 or visit safeharboroh.com now. Join us again soon for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Investment advisory services are offered by Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Investment Advisor. Insurance products and services are offered through Safe Harbor Retirement Group, LLC, an affiliated company. Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, LLC, and Safe Harbor Retirement Group, LLC, are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any government agency. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.